567.2. So 567.2 does have, there's 50 bug fixes in there, and there are 10 new enhancement requests as part of this release. We always have up on our WiSys.com on the support site, there is a product build update with all of the release notes for any bug and enhancement fixes that are there. The link is here, so you can get to it that way. I would definitely always recommend that you go through and take a look what's out there in case there's anything that you might find beneficial. Also, when you apply the updates, there's a Windows box that pops up that takes you into that what's new build document, and then also has the bug releases or the fixes and updates that are on there. So definitely take a look at that and kind of go through there and see if there's anything that affects you. So part of Build 567.2, the major feature and functionality that's going to be released in this, is our new Agility F1 help, and also the Agility Label Designer. And those are the things that we wanted to go through and show you today. The Agility Explorer F1 help that is out here, what we have done is in each of the component applications, we now have added to the design tool a tab where you can put a link to the F1 help. That allows us to put in a link to our WiSys online documentation to the support site there, so that users, when they're in an application, can hit F1, and it will take them to our help site directly to that application and answer any questions that they may have for F1 help. What this also does for you is that if you have your own tailored applications or custom applications that you may have, it gives you the ability to also link to your own documentation. So whether that is a website, so ours is a URL that's there. It could be Synergy. It can also be something as simple as a Word or a PDF doc. So you can link those to those documents if they're out on your network, as long as everyone has the ability to get to that network site and to that document type that's out there. You can also link it that way. And I'll show you a little bit of the F1 help here in a minute. The other new thing here is the Agility Label Designer. So the new Agility Label Designer released with this is designed basically to replace NiceLabel for all of your labeling needs. Let's go take a look really quick here. I'm going to pop over into the product, and we're going to take a look at the F1 help, and then we'll come back and take a look at the Agility Label Designer. So I am going to escape out of here, and I am going to open up the WiSys Agility application here. And if I open up the Agility Explorer, and I'm going to go to a couple of applications here, and in here I'm going to open up purchase order here. And in purchase order, I am going to go on ahead and open up PO receipts. So all of your users, let me make this a little bit bigger for you guys. And I'm opening up my application here. And anytime I'm in the application, just a simple F1 key. I'm going to select my F1 key. And this is going to open us up to our WiSys online documentation site that's been there forever. And it's going to take us right to the PO receipts. Now, we are going through the process right now of reviewing all of our online help and updating it to the most current. So as it takes the users to the online help here, you'll notice there's an overview of what is the purpose of this particular component application here. And it's going to give you a little bit of information about the SQL that's used to provide this application to you. So if you are a user that needs to know some table information, where it's coming from, all of that is part of that online help that we are building into there. What's the filters? What are they for? What do they do? What are the different edit fields? You know, how do I use them? Do I have the alerts that are on here? What are those are? All of those we're getting updated and built into our online help. And it takes the users right there, hopefully can answer all of their questions immediately. So, you know, real easily, if I'm in the PO clothesline PO process, what is that? I've never heard of it. You know, can I use this? Do I need it? Again, F1 help, going to take them right there, and it's going to explain the PO line close process, how they would use it and what they can do with it. So it makes that very easy to do. So and how do I get that help in there, and how can you use that help? So I'm going to open up the Agility Design tool. So the Agility Design tool builds our Agility Explorer applications here. And I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to open up the PO views. And when I open up the PO views, I will go to my PO receiving. And let's find my PO receipts application here, which is my Agility PO receiving. I'm going to open up that PO receipts, and you'll notice that on the settings tab here, we have a new tab over here. And depending on if it's a process grid or a regular grid or whatever that is, depends on where that help button is. But I'm going to go to my help, and you'll see here, this says help URL. And it's taking us to the WiSys support site, which has been out there, to the documentation, and it's pointing them directly to that PO receipts help. So that's how we have all of our standard out-of-the-box stuff. If this is your own custom application, and you've tailored it, or someone's designed it for you, and you have documentation for processes, procedures, specs, whatever it is you may want to do there, basically you can come in here and put in that linkage right here, and then of course wherever that is, if it's on the network or if it's a URL, it will point you directly to that. If you store your documents in Synergy, you can have that information in here and link those together, so it's going to pull you right to that Synergy documentation, providing support for that. If you will, I can also use it as a network link. Now I don't have my virtual here set up as part of the network, but let me open up, I'm going to open up Agility Explorer here. And here I'm just opening up a different area. So I've got an inventory serial lot trace. And if I go into my serial lot trace and I'm going to hit F1, this is not taking me to the right serial lot trace. I didn't want to mess with the real stuff here. So this is opening up an actual Word doc, and I pointed it to a What's New in Build 567. So if I look at the Agility Designer that I have, this is in my IM views, and I have my inventory serial lot trace here, which is this particular application in Agility Explorer here. I'm going to open that up here, and if I go to my Help tab, you'll see that I'm pointing to a C Users, my documentation site, and I'm pointing to a Word doc site. So you have the flexibility, be it a PDF or whatever it is, to get that help that your users need for any tailored applications that you have. So I'm going to go on ahead and close those out and get rid of them and minimize this guy. And we'll go on ahead and close our online help here. So that's the F1 help, how you can use it. Number one, to get straight to our site for your users. Number two, to add it in and build your own help documentation that you need. So let's go back to the designer label. Whoops. Let me flip this around here. And let's talk about the Agility Label Designer. The Agility Label Designer that is part of the 0.2 release here is a new product that we have introduced. It gives you the ability to do any kind of labels basically that you need, whether that's 2D barcode, code 39, 128, GS1, 128, UPC, postal codes, PDF 417, UPS, any of those types of labels, it can handle those. So the Label Designer is coming out in the 0.2 release. We are using a .NET Neo Dynamic product. It is embedded in the Agility product, and you can run it from the Label Designer, you can run it from Form Studio, you can run it as a standalone application, and you can open it up from within the Document Manager to open it up and manage them easily from inside Document Manager. So it's very deeply embedded into the Agility product, and of course it is supported in our Document Manager, so you can add all of the public, private, and whatever labels that you need for your environment to specify the particular labels for different customers, different items, whatever that happens to be. As part of the Agility Label Designer release, we have included standard out-of-the-box labels. So the labels that used to come with NiceLabel, we had some out-of-the-box ones that we provided that you could pull into Document Manager, use them right out of the box, use them as a template to customize and to do your own. We've done the same thing with the Agility Label Designer. So you will have those out of the box provided to you. And again, you can use them out of the box, customize them, copy them, get ideas from them, whatever you need to do with that product. So the Agility Label Designer and NiceLabel. Let's talk about the NiceLabel product. NiceLabel 2017 does not work with WiSys, and we are not going to support it. Doesn't mean if they've given it to you that you can't use it for NiceLabel and how it does. It just doesn't work inside the Document Manager. And why did we do that? NiceLabel 2017, it was changed to be sold as printer-based pricing. So this would have required WiSys to track all of each of your printers for NiceLabel. Every time you wanted to add a printer, we would have to track that type of printer, and we would charge by the printer. We did not really feel that this was scalable and gave us the ability to distribute a runtime out there that was cost effective for you guys and let you kind of set it up and run your labels from wherever. So that's kind of why we went, hey, let's build our own and get this label designer out here for everybody. As far as the NiceLabel product goes, NiceLabel version 5 and NiceLabel version 6, the runtimes, they will be supported for as long as we can possibly support those, which means that there needs to be a compelling event, maybe such as an operating system update or some kind of change that is out of our control that makes the runtime stop working. So it's going to be part of it. It's available and it's supported until there's something that stops it from running, which is out of our control and we can't do anything with. And the reason being for that is that NiceLabel doesn't support version 5 anymore. And at the end of this year, they won't be supporting version 6 any longer. So if something happens there, we really won't be able to get any support on that either. So when we go through the Agility NiceLabel thing, some of the things you may ask, well, okay, how am I going to get it? With 567.2, the Agility Label Designer will be distributed to you automatically. It's part of the installation update. But you do have to install 567.2 to get that release. There is no charge for that. We are not putting any kind of additional charge for you to get that Label Designer. It's bundled up and part of the Agility product. And what does that mean for your existing NiceLabels? You can continue to use your NiceLabel version 5 and version 6 labels in Agility until something stops them from running. So if the runtime doesn't work anymore because something in Windows or the something has changed so that the runtime won't work, until that point in time, your NiceLabels will run and you can continue working with the NiceLabels. So there is no rush to go out and convert all of your labels. How are you? Well, let's do this. Let's go take a quick view of the Agility Label product here. So in here, I am going to open up. You'll see that I have the Agility Label Designer on my desktop here. And I'm going to go on ahead and close this. I've added it to my taskbar, so I've just created a shortcut. And it has an icon, AL, for Agility Label. And I'm going to go on ahead and choose this. When it opens up, it asks me for a server name. If I have multiple servers, I can point to those particular servers. In this environment, I have one. And then what database do I want to point to? And this is basically to set this label up to run against your Macola database while you're testing it. It will move and run whatever database information it needs when you run it from within Agility. So right now I'm going to choose company 300 and I'm going to click OK. And this is the new label designer. You will notice that it looks very similar if you guys use the design tools at all. It's in a similar design of that. And basically here, I've got my toolbars. It's a very similar product. I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to open up a already designed label here. You can see here that these are Agility labels. And their extension is WLB, WiSys label. You will notice that these are all the out-of-the-box ones that we provide to you. And they are all they have an appendage with a -AL so that you know for us that that was an agility label, and that's the tool that is created. If you've looked at the NiceLabel ones, they end with an NL for NiceLabel. And of Crystal ones, of course, they don't have anything, but they're a .rpt. So I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to open up this standard label here. And this is the Agility Label Designer. We do have here our logo on the standard labels. And if you look at that particular logo, that is loading. The NiceLabel label was in the WiSys directory, and it was under logos. We have a new file under there that just says your company logo. You can rename your logo there, and it will automatically update all of these labels that have a logo on them with your logo automatically. So you don't have to come in here and edit these. You can just change that label out. So of course it has full featured functionality here. This is just a 128 label here. And of course I can take a look. I have the ability to do images. Of course I can do text. I can do fields. So I am going to show you here. We'll go under data. It's a SQL query. I can use any SQL query and build that in to build my label here. And then I attach the items from my SQL query here. And over here, I have my properties here. So I have the ability up here to add lines, rectangles, designs, embed text, pictures, barcodes, group them together, bring them forward and backwards. It's pretty full feature here. So as I click on the particular items, I would insert either some kind of text or picture or barcode, and it's going to open up the properties boxes, and then I just basically set those properties. If I choose a barcode item, of course, here I can set all the different types of properties for the type of barcode that I want to build. So you can see there's QR properties, PDF 417s. I can set them for human readable, check digits, all of that information. Now, this Thursday, the 13th, I have an Agility Learning Lab scheduled at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, and we will go into building a label. So we will walk through the process of using this tool, and we will build a label together if you or someone from your company would like to learn the tool and learn to build these labels here. To add the different stuff here, I do have to define my data, and that's very easily done here under the data in the SQL query. Now, when I open this up, if you're familiar with our Agility Designer, the query builder looks very similar here. I can build it the same way and build in my SQL, build in my tables. I can do it with drag and drop functionality. I can do it with cut and paste. It's very easy to use in building my parameter list. So it is an easy to use tool. Now in here, I did start this from the Agility label. I added the taskbar standalone right here to my taskbar. But I can also, if I open up Agility Designer, I can run it from within the Agility Designer menu here. So here, if you come under the Designer, you'll notice if I go to my menu tab, I have my Agility Label Designer. And if I choose that, it's going to open up the exact same thing, the Agility Label Designer, and I can start it right from here. The same thing from within Form Studio. If I open up Form Studio, again, on the menu bar here, pick my project, and I go to my menu, I can run the Agility Label Designer right from here. So I don't have to do all that first and then build it in. So I can open it from there. The other thing, it does work with our document manager. So with that, if I open up the Agility Explorer here, and I'm going to come over here to my file, and I'm going to come to my options, and I'm going to go down to my documents. So one of the things that I said is that we are providing the some standard out-of-the-box applications with the Agility Label Designer to use out of the box or use for templates or for ideas on how to. But if I go to my document import, and I'm going to scroll over here, and just like I would for NiceLabel or Crystal, if I wanted to import those particular labels, under your WiSys directory, under the doc folder, if I point to that and click OK, it shows me all of the bundled up reports that we have for each of those types of labels. So you'll notice here, I still have my NiceLabel ones out there. NiceLabel will not be pushed out anymore. It is available should something happen and you need them. We do have them, but you will get the documents and the extension of -AL for agility label. If I want to import those in because I want to use them, or I want to export this out and take a look at the individual reports in that bundle, I can choose the distribution documents for agility label, and I can see I'm going to get a PO receiving and a standard inventory label. This is the label that I opened up in agility label when we opened that. We do have the bundled up ones for, I've got my package documents, so I've got cartons, I've got pallets, and I've got a UCC 128 that's out there as an example, or a standard document. The same thing with pallets. So I've got my pallet ones for PO receiving pallets, pot finished good pallets, standard pallets. All of those are available for you to import. And you simply check the ones that you want to import, whatever that happens to be. And you can choose import or remove them. I'm going to choose import. And those documents have been added to the document manager. So once I import them, I would go on ahead and I'm going to close my Agility Explorer. I'm going to open it back up. And I'm going to go to my options, and I'm going to go back to my document manager. And in my document manager here now under documents, if I open up inventory and I open up standard, because this is where the standard inventory label prints from, you will see that I have my WSSTD label.al for agility label. And here I can control this just like I do for Crystal or NiceLabel, where I can add these in and set them to public or private if I need different labels for different products, or the same thing for different carton labels or pallet labels or whatever that happens to be. So it works exactly the same for all of the document assignment, whatever that happens to be. I also have the ability to open this right from here. So when I imported it, all of our labels or our documents that we do, it writes them into the database. So whatever that is, it writes it to the database. If I need to make changes to that, of course, I can go to my properties. I can see where this particular standard one was imported from, and that's my base. But when I do that, it is written into the SQL database. So I can open up this label from here. So I have the ability to open it, and it's going to open up the Agility Label Designer. It opens up the tool, brings up the label. It allows me to make changes to this label, and I can now save this down to wherever that property was that I originally created that from. And when I save this, if I'm going to do a save as, I then need to come in here. I've made some changes. I need to come in here and go to my properties, and I need to refresh the report to pull those changes into the SQL database so it picks those up. Works the same as NiceLabel and Crystal. I have to do the same thing. I can get to it the same way, and that is all here and available. So that is Agility Label from the document manager. So you can see here, if you look under the packaging, we have, of course, the carton ones that we pulled in and the UCC 128. Real easy to tell because they have the AL extension. So that is the Agility label within the document manager. So let's go back here. I'm going to close this now, and I'm going to pop back here to my PowerPoint slide here. And let me flip this again. And we're going to come back down here to, we talked about how you get the Agility Label Designer and what happens to that. So let's talk about converting to your NiceLabels. There is no need, of course, to rush out and have to worry about converting your existing NiceLabels. As we said, they will continue to run. When you're ready to convert to the Agility Label program, if you have labels that WiSys developed for you, and they are part of your active maintenance contract, if you contact support, we will get you scheduled if you would like any of those labels converted, all, none, whatever that happens to be of your NiceLabels. And we will set up a time to get your labels converted. That is free of charge because it's covered by the maintenance contract that you have on those particular labels. If WiSys developed those labels and you don't have an active maintenance contract on it, go on ahead, contact support if you would like some help with us rewriting those, and support will work with you for a discounted rate on converting those to the new Agility label format. If you have labels that you need converted and they were done by yourself in-house or they were done by a reseller, I would recommend that you contact your reseller. They can assist you on getting those labels recreated. If you would like WiSys to help with that, we can either work with you to train you to do it, or we can convert them to do that for you, but that would be at our hourly rate. If you would like to learn to convert those or to start using those yourself, again, we do have a do-it-yourself Kickstarter class, Agility Learning Lab, this Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. So by all means, come to that, and we will walk through how to do that. One of the things to mention here, the label designer doesn't replace Crystal. Crystal is for full-fledged forms like packing slips and invoices, and this can't do packing slips and invoices. It's for doing labels. Now, if you have labels in Crystal and you want to move them to the label designer, that would be absolutely a good application. If you want to replace NiceLabel, definitely what that is, or you need new development, new labels developed, and they can work with conjunction of NiceLabel and Agility. So now we're kind of at the end of what's new in 567.2.